Hi, my name is Kim Howell, and today I'm going to be taking you through the UX design process for a language learning app called Lingo Ninja. But before we get started, there's someone I want you to meet. This is Ashley. She's a 30-year-old female living in New York City, a college graduate, and works for a global marketing firm. She has a very busy lifestyle and frequently travels abroad for both work and pleasure. Ashley sees life as one big journey and likes to share her experience through her travel blog. She wants to be fluent in multiple languages so that she can effectively communicate with her international clients as well as those she meets when traveling to new places. Ashley feels that speaking another's language helps her to experience the culture and connect on a deeper level. Now let's take a look at the problem brief. In Ashley's case, her busy lifestyle leaves her very little time for learning new languages. She mostly studies during her commute to and from work. She commutes by train, which is always crowded. Ashley is goal-oriented and needs to be able to track and gauge her progress in order to stay motivated. And she has a hard time memorizing words and requires supplemental learning aids. To sum up the problem statement, Ashley needs a tool that will help her to learn new languages that's not only fun and rewarding, but also convenient and efficient. Let's explore some of the challenges Ashley encounters. As we mentioned previously, Ashley studies during her commute to the office. She takes a train and is surrounded by lots of other commuters. Some of the lessons focus on speech, and she wants to be able to disable this feature so that she's not disturbing others. Also, Ashley finds it convenient to study while she travels. She spends lots of hours waiting in airports and on the plane during flights. In these situations, Wi-Fi is not always available, which prevents her from accessing the lesson in the apps she currently uses. Ashley is goal-oriented and likes to be challenged. She needs to be able to clearly see her progress to keep her motivated. And finally, Ashley finds effective learning requires repetition, but hasn't been able to find an app that provides an easy way for her to create specialized study sets or flashcards. After considering Ashley's goals, motivation, and challenges, the next step was to sketch out a few key wireframes focusing on the features that will provide her with the best learning experience. Let's start with the onboarding. Once Ashley has downloaded and opened the app, she's greeted with the welcome screen, followed by 3 screens that she can swipe through that outline key benefits. I chose to keep this optional by including the register and login buttons accessible from each of the onboarding screens. I've also included a link that will provide Ashley with a quick tutorial on key features of the app. Next is the registration and login screen. Registration is a simple 3-step process. Registration, choose a language, and the level. Once the account's registered, upon returning to the app, Ashley can log in using her email, Facebook, or Google Plus account. Once logged in, Ashley is on the home screen. From here, she can see current lessons, her progress, access her settings, or navigate to her study sets. From the study set screen, Ashley will create a new study set. She is then taken to a screen to set up the deck name, followed by a screen to set up the cards. Once she's completed adding cards, she clicks Done and she's presented with Set View. Here she will see the deck and any of the cards she's created, and if she needs to, she can make edits from the screen. Next, Ashley will download the study set she just created so she can access it offline. To do this, she will click on the download button next to the study set. Later, Ashley decides she no longer needs to access the set offline. She can remove it from her phone by accessing the Manage Download from Settings and clicking Delete. Once the sketches were complete and I had a pretty good feel for how the user might approach the app, it was time to facilitate a usability test. For my usability test, I recruited 3 participants and had them perform 4 key tasks. First, onboarding and user registration. Interestingly enough, none of my participants clicked through the onboarding. They proceeded right to the registration. Next, we had to set up the study deck and add a card. This is a pretty important feature of the app, so I wanted to make sure it was intuitive and easy to complete this task. Although the app provides multiple ways to generate a study deck, for the sake of time, I focused on one way, and that was having the participant generate a deck from cards from scratch. Next, edit the study set by adding a new card. I wanted to know if users would be able to find their way back to the study set area and if editing a deck would be a simple task. Additionally, this required the participant to log in, so I was able to see if there were any issues or concerns with the login process. And finally, I had the participants download the study deck they created to their phone and then remove the download from the Manage Download feature. Next, we'll take a look at what failures came up during the test. In the third task, editing a study deck proved to be less than intuitive. 2 out of the 3 participants tried to create a new study deck instead of editing the existing one. I believe adding a clearly defined edit button will be helpful. Additionally, one of the participants tried to click on the study set and accidentally clicked on the download button. Relocating this button and possibly making it descriptive would prevent this from happening. Another task that raised concern was when the participant was asked to remove the download from their device. The participant was reluctant to proceed or confirm for fear that the study set would be gone forever. Although the user is presented with assurance that this is only removing the set from the device, it may be unclear. We could relocate this message so that it's visible on the confirmation screen. Next, we'll take a look at some of the improvements that we've made since the result of the learnings from the usability test. First, to address the issue that participants have when trying to add cards to the study set, we've added an edit button in the list. Next, we address the issue that the other participant had when she accidentally clicked on the download button while completing the edit task. We've relocated the download button to the left and away from the edit button. And lastly, we address the issue that came up when the participant tried to delete the download set from her device. If you recall, she was concerned that she was actually going to be deleting the study set completely. We address this by adding clear communication within the confirmation screen for assurance that the study set is not being removed, only the downloaded files on the device. The next steps are to flush out more of the features of the app, such as additional ways to generate study sets, as well as providing sample lessons. I would also update the prototype to a low-fidelity digital version, as opposed to sketches. This will help us to clean up the interface. And lastly, test, and more tests until we've met the goal of creating an awesome user experience. So my personal experience going through this course has been a positive one. I feel now that I have a better understanding and appreciate each of the stages of the UX design process. It's a tried and true method, and I'll be putting it into practice going forward. The competitive analysis gave me a better understanding of how vocabulary apps work in general, and a glimpse into what users might be expecting. It also gave me an opportunity to see various approaches taken by other designers with certain features. User interviews were extremely beneficial in providing insights to the wants and needs of the user. And from these interviews, I was able to develop my persona, Ashley. This helped me to keep the focus throughout the design on the goals, pain points, and behaviors of the targeted user. Finally, usability testing in the early stages allowed me to see how real people interact with the app and will be helpful as I make further design decisions. One of the biggest challenges for me was during the wireframe and prototype exercise. Having a design background, I found myself getting too deep into the weeds, aesthetically speaking, which slowed me down and caused me to lose sight or focus on the task at hand. This is something that I will continue to work on, staying true to and respecting the process, and to remember that form follows function. With that said, I want to thank you for taking the time to go on this journey with me.